This is not the type of format that I prefer. I'm not a fan of the numerous YouTube accounts that rage on other people and throw a lot of shade and hate on people and get everybody whipped into a frenzy about whatever it is this week. But I felt personally compelled to record this opinion video regarding the Helgestrand TV2 Operation X series. If you're not familiar with that, it's an undercover expose that they did on Helgestrand, and the TV show is in Denmark, and the show aired last night in Denmark. So today, which is Thanksgiving Day in the U.S., there's a lot of video clips now on YouTube from that, and a lot of opinion pieces because of what people saw that rightly so disgusted everybody. As I said, I really don't like the numerous shock channels on YouTube that destroy FEI riders on a regular basis. There are even channels that point their arrows at amateur riders just to hate on them and get subscribers and likes. The keyboard commandos also disappoint me because they tend to offer misguided opinions about what they think is happening from a 16-second clip. First, let me define who I am. I am an adult amateur dressage rider. I started my journey riding an Egyptian Arabian horse and later on a rescue Lipizan. He was a kill pen rescue. Needless to say, both of them were very difficult to ride, and they have a lot of previous baggage that is difficult to train for dressage. I am currently developing a 3-year-old PRE, Pure Race España Andalusian horse that I purchased as a 16-month-old baby. And he was gelded this summer. And there's a lag time between when you geld a stallion to the time when the hormones finally work their way out of the system. It could be 6 months, it could be a year. I am learning, and I have to rely on expertise from professional trainers to help me teach me the best way to develop my horses. With any living being, they thrive on rules, boundaries, and limitations. Horses need a good leader to feel comfortable in these stressful, unnatural environments we place them in. I rely a lot on natural horsemanship groundwork tools to help me teach my horses. With that out of the way, let me dive into my opinion based on what I see all the time in U.S. dressage events. I watch a lot of Clip My Horse and the USEF network. So I watch a lot of dressage, jumping, driving competitions, basically most all things equestrian. I watch a lot of equestrian events. I personally see a lot of abusive riding in the U.S., especially in the lower level classes that the shock channels tend to ignore. What I do know is that the spur is not there to be used as a weapon. It's there to help refine your leg aids. Obviously, you have sometimes you have to make a point to the horse that doesn't want to go forward with a kick, but that should be something that is rare and under the direction of a professional. Unfortunately, in the U.S., anybody can hang their shingle out as a professional. And the poor quality of that training is very apparent when I watch Clip My Horse and U.S. Equestrian Network. It is surprisingly bad in these classes that I watch. And I'm talking about training level through pre-St. George. I watch quite a bit of it. I asked dressage judge Christy Wysocki at a New Test Symposium in January in 2023 about the excessive use of spurring in U.S. dressage events, if the organizations were going to do something to crack down on it. Her response was that scores are lowered, so that takes care of it. Well, to me, that was a terrible answer, since it doesn't, quote, take care of it, end quote, and the riders are not getting the hint. How are they going to get the hint when their trainer's telling them to do this? Now on to the sensational TV2 Operation X program that just aired in Denmark regarding Helgestrand dressage. If you don't know who he is, it's Andreas Helgestrand. If you don't know who he is, do a quick Google search. He is the largest horse dealer for sport horses in the world, so he has tremendous influence in equestrian sports. Andreas Helgestrand has been competing a horse named Jovian, a beautiful moving stallion who has delivered some high scores. However, I have watched him eliminated for blood 2 or 3 times while watching big FEI events via Clip My Horse TV. The excuse given has been that, quote, he bit his tongue, end quote. I must say, even my non-horsey husband called BS on that reason. I questioned the reason and started asking people at the dressage shows locally in Northern California about it. Some said, well, they may have had their curb chain in the wrong spot or some such excuse. The reasons just didn't fill me with confidence, and it bothered me that it seemed to be common knowledge that Helgestrand's facility was known for being really harsh on the horses. One of the most outrageous things to me that they are using as far as the abuse in the Operation X. So one of the most outrageous things to me was that they're using shoe polish to cover spur marks on the horses. That is beyond outrageous and explains why I see obvious scars on the horses or on horses at the events. You can see it when you're watching these Clip My Horse shows. You can see where the little patches that they don't shave for the spur mark, and you can see that there's obvious prior scarring on the sides of the horses, which has always bothered me. The other disgusting thing was that the horses have bleeding sores in their mouths. Like what? So I assume that this is the real reason why Jovian has been disqualified for blood in the events that I've seen. Has he been suffering with bleeding sores in his mouth? There were several other horses that were named in the expose that have bleeding sores in their mouth. And they're continuously being trained with bleeding mouths. I can't even wrap my mind around that. The pain these poor animals must be in is beyond sickening to me. In contrast, if my horses get a scratch, I'm texting my vet for guidance so that they are not in any discomfort at all, because I will do anything for my horse's welfare. So who's there to advocate for these high-level horses? So if many people knew that abuse was going on, why didn't they report it? Why didn't the equestrian organizations do something about it prior to the expose coming out? It's not like these are kill pen rescues. These are Olympic level horses or Olympic potential horses, which means their value has got to exceed $500,000, over $500,000 US. Not to mention, the stallions are breeding and bringing in massive amounts of stud fees each year. So we're talking huge sums of money in this operation. These are not just like Joe Schmo down the street who's starving his horse because he's an idiot and he's a yahoo. These are abused animals that are worth tens of thousands or hundreds of thousands of dollars, just massive amounts of money. Why would anybody in their right mind abuse such high-level athletes? And why was this ignored? These are the questions I have for the equestrian organizations. Yes, the facility owner and the rioters who participated in this abuse need to be held to account, and I'm not here to slander them. I'm just asking questions based on my observations and from the few TV2 Operation X clips that I've watched on YouTube. And all of this stuff you can find on YouTube. I know there's always bad stuff on YouTube that you can easily find, but I found this particular case revolting. Personally, to me, it was quite revolting. And I don't know that anything's going to improve as far as the training and the welfare aspects for these high-level horses. I hope so. The Danish organization has indicated they want the riders to come forward on their own, which good luck with that. And supposedly they've made changes at Helgestrand because he was fighting this documentary from being released in the courts, and now he's supposedly made a bunch of changes. Well, good for you. But what is that message of abuse saying to the equestrian community for your beginning dressage rider that's having trouble with a horse that's not the best suited or not a $50,000, big moving warm blood? They got a normal horse. What are the judges going to do to really kind of do something? I think it's beyond the judges at this point. I know we can pick at the judges, we can pick at the owners, we can pick at this, that, and the other thing. But really as a community, what are the organizations doing to ensure that we're not having widespread abuse with our equine athletes? And like I said, rules, boundaries, and limitations are always going to be part of your relationship with any human or animal. But when you go beyond rules, boundaries, and limitations, and you get to this level of abuse, I got a problem with this. Personally, it really, really bothers me. And it's just my personal opinion. And this is why I felt strongly about saying something about it. No hate on anybody. Don't go running around trashing other people and slandering them. I don't like that behavior. But just think about the questions that I have, and do these questions resonate with you? What are your thoughts on what we need to do to make sure that we have better safeguards for our equine athletes? And if you made it this far, good on you. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. Feel free to subscribe. As I said, I'm a amateur adult dressage rider. I'm learning. I'm on a journey to hopefully someday make it to Grand Prix. And there's a lot of learning that goes into that along the way. So you're more than welcome to join me on the journey, or share this video, and if you feel like my outrage is your outrage. Thanks for watching.